Guess who shattered their ankle today?
See if I find it. Are you up and on? Up and on! Better, finally! Hello, good morning, I'm Spike, and welcome to another self-taught Japanese in Rosetta Stone. Oh, my camera is a little on the low side today. Let's get that a little bit further up. Oh, that's better, a bit more central. So here we are back on Wednesday, the 11th of June. My apologies for having not done a video for the past 2 days at the start of this week. But I was taken ill on Saturday and I've only just recovered. You can probably hear it a little bit in my sinuses and stuff. But I've been a little bit more run down. And I've also had yet more issues with this godforsaken program when it decides to not work on Windows 10. It appears to be an issue that conflicts with FlexNet licensing services in program data and program files, which is probably legacy from its Windows XP sort of days. So apologies for that and not being able to deliver the videos that I wanted to deliver yesterday and Monday as planned. But we'll try and crack on and get what we can done for this week. So here we are. We're going to be doing the 2 listening modules today. I'm going to try and get the listening and reading modules done tomorrow, and potentially the speaking. I need to get this section here done before my daughter shows up for the weekend. So I'm going to try and do as much as I can over the next 2 days, along with all of the other work that I have to do. So if you like what you see and you enjoy what you're listening to with regards to learning the Japanese language casually alongside my own learning and me self-teaching myself, then please like, follow, share and subscribe. You can do so on both channels, twitch.tv/crank7up and youtube.com/xofficina. Both pages link to each other, so if you miss one, you can get onto the other. Twitch is where I live stream this video or these videos, and then I just export them to YouTube, so it's exactly the same video. There's no editing involved. It's what you see is what you get. And I do that because I'm not yet affiliate on Twitch. I'd very much like to, hence the ask for the like, follows, shares, and subscriptions. Hit that bell, get the notification that I'm going on live, and you can catch these videos as they are made and presented, and you can learn along with me as we go. My intention of putting it on YouTube is obviously not being affiliate. The videos disappear after 7 days, after a week on Twitch. So YouTube is my permanent home for them. You can find them in the playlist over on that side, over on there. They are numbered and they should be in the correct order from 1 to this one, which is 54 or 55. In fact, I think it is 55. I've already done 54, so I need to change that and go there and do that. Just make sure that has changed over. That's my bad. But here we are. We are currently entering the back third of the lesson 4 unit 2 stuff. Making our way to the milestone to get into unit 3, which will be about work and school. Which obviously we're going to start ramping up some of the complicated Japanese that's going to be thrown at us, or at least I assume so. So I suppose without further ado, we should set up the microphone and pull out our notes. So here we are. We have our, and I hope you have yours as well. We have our alphabetized kanji here, based around the hiragana alphabet and its sounds. And I also have, of course, our numbers 1 through 12 and 0 with our noun tenses, as you can see, with a couple of little extras at the bottom. It, its, and it. and on, in, and under, just for reference outside of the slides and the program, just to make sure if I just do end up running around or making notes anywhere or listening to anything outside of this program, I can understand what's being said with a quick reference and slowly learn some more extracurricular Japanese, if you like. So without further ado, let's set up the microphone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should give us our microphone set. And let's see what's chucking us in at the deep end with.
彼女の靴下は灰色です。
That's about the grey socks that she's wearing.
彼の靴下は紫です。
Murasaki desu is the purple jumper. No,
彼
purple
の
socks.
靴下は
There's our first
紫で
mistake
す。
in quite some time.
彼女のセーターは紫。彼女の靴下は灰色です。
She has grey socks.
彼の靴下は紫です。
He has purple socks.
彼のセーターは灰色です。
He has a grey sweater. It sounds a little bit quieter than usual today, and I'm not quite sure. Why is that? Let's have a look. Is everything up? Yeah, everything is up. Lovely jubbly. So it must be in the program, right? Oh, yes, so it is. There we go. My, what's it? Isn't set. And, yeah, the difficulty is set as well. I wonder why my audio settings changed. It seems a little bit weird, but hey ho, it is what it is. So, Kanojo no seita wa murasaki desu. Her sweater or her jumper is purple. Kare no kutsushita wa murasaki desu. His socks are purple. Kare no seita wa hairo desu. His sweater is grey. And Kanojo no kutsushita wa hairo desu. Her socks are grey. Let's move on. Side 2.
私の靴は茶色です。
His shoes are brown.
私のワンピースはピンクです。
My dress is pink.
私のネクタイは茶色です。
That's quite an obvious one with the old necktie. That's chairo for brown, so his tie is brown.
私のベルトはピンクです。
And my belt is pink. That's why we've got these little triangles to notify that they're speaking about themselves. Polite form, I, watashi no. And then you've got necktie, wa chairo desu, brown tie. Beruto wa pinku, is pink belt. One piece wa pinku, is a pink dress. And then kutsu wa chairo desu is brown shoes. So there we have our 4. Let's move on to slide 3.
青、
Owl is blue.
ピンク、
Pretty obvious. Pink.
紫、
Purple
茶色、
is brown.
黄色、
Kiro is yellow.
緑、
Is green.
灰色、
Aino is grey.
オレンジ、
Orange, pretty obvious, is orange. And there is our westernized Romaji, Western English, translations of how the Japanese is pronounced or spelt in English. Let's have a quick look at the old kanji. There's your kanji for, or hiragana, should I say, for the colours. Let's go to slide 4.
背の低い男の人は黒いスーツを着ています。
Let's hear that again.
背の低い男の人は黒いスーツを着ています。
Is it about the tall person, or is it about the short person in their suit?
背の低い男の人は黒いスーツを着ていま
Second
す。
guess, it's the short guy.
背の高い男の人は黒いスーツを着ていま
Hear the
す。
slight difference there from the short person to the tall person. Takai is tall.
背の低い女の人は灰色のスーツを着ています。
Her suit is grey. The shorter lady's suit is grey.
背の高い女の人は
背の高い
灰色のスーツを着ています。
And then the taller person's suit is grey. So hikui it's the hikui, the he here that goes almost silent. Se no takai onna no hito wa hairo no sutsu o kite imasu. The short lady, or the taller lady, sorry, in this slide. That's my mistake. My reading's not great today. Se no takai onna no hito wa hairo no sutsu o kite imasu. The tall lady's suit is grey. Se no hikui, my tongue doesn't want to work either because of the coffee. Se no hikui onna no hito wa hairo no sutsu o kite imasu. The shorter lady's suit is grey. And then the same for the bottom. Se no takai otoko no hito wa kuroi sutsu o kite imasu. The tall man's suit is black. And then the same with the short man's suit. Se no hikui otoko no hito wa kuroi sutsu o kite imasu. Fantastic. Let's go slide 5.
彼の髪は茶色です。
My hair is brown. His hair is
私た
brown.
ちの髪は金髪です。
Their hair is blonde. Oh, our hair is blonde. The nuance. Watashi-tachi, yeah, I should have known that.
私たちの髪は金髪です。
Yeah,
彼
our.
の髪は茶色です。
His hair is brown, sorry.
私の髪は茶色です。
My hair is brown.
彼らの髪は金髪です。
And their hair is blonde. So, watashi no kami wa chairo desu. My hair is brown. Kare no kami wa chairo desu. His hair is brown. Karera wa no kami wa kinpatsu desu. Their hair is blonde. Kinpatsu is blonde. And watashi no kami wa kinpatsu desu. Our, plural for our. Watashi no kami wa kinpatsu desu. Our hair is blonde. And there it is. I mean, again, like I've mentioned in the last couple of previous videos, once you've learned the singular words, like watashi, and what it means in context when it's someone speaking about someone else or about themselves, whether it's plural and singular, becomes easy to know to identify the form being used when it comes to noun tense. It becomes easier. I'm still making mistakes, obviously. But here we are. Once you've learned that, and then you're learning how the structure of Japanese sentences are created, it doesn't become too difficult to identify individual words to then piece together what the sentence says. So here we have my, kami, hair, brown, chairo, and is, there is, it is, des. Kare no kami wa chairo desu. His hair is brown. Their, karera no, and then blonde, kinpatsu. And watashi-tachi, our. So it becomes easy to extrapolate what each word in Japanese, in a Japanese sentence like this, is. And again, beginning your journey of learning Japanese. Let's go to slide 6.
私たちの髪は白髪です。
Say that again.
私たちの髪は白髪です。 私たちの髪は白髪です。
I'm an idiot. I'm speaking about our.
あなたの髪は赤毛です。
Your hair is red.
私の髪は赤毛です。
My hair is red.
私たちの髪は
Our
白
hair
髪で
is
す。
grey or white.
彼の髪は白髪です。
His hair is white. Although, notice how they're not saying shiraga for white. They're saying a totally different word.
私たちの髪は白髪です。
Hakuhatsu desu. It's not saying hakuhatsu desu, is it? It's saying shiraga. And this is another one of those bugged issues regarding translation, or maybe a typo in this program. Yes. Hakuhatsu desu. Yeah, hakuhatsu desu is a direct translation of the phrase white hair, with haku meaning white and hatsu meaning hair. It's a synonym for shiraga, which also means white hair. So although we've got it here in typed form, shiraga, to mean the color white, and we've got kamiwa, hakuhatsu desu, you're saying watashi no, so our hair, watashi no kami, our hair, is white hair with hakuhatsu desu, is. So yeah, it's you do get some errors in this program. Here we have your hair is red, my hair is red, his hair is white. But we're replacing shiraga with hakuhatsu, which also means white hair, and it's the synonym for shiraga. Although again, it would be nice if there is like a margin here maybe, or sticky notes or something in the program to remind us that when you are seeing this in text form and it doesn't match the audio, that it's teaching you that there is another word for what you're expecting here to be said, that you're actually reading and not necessarily hearing. Otherwise that can be quite confusing to the learning process, which is fair enough. So it's just something to be mindful of. Shiraga becomes hakuhatsu, and hakuhatsu means white hair. Shiraga means white. Kami means hair. So, you know, there's a couple of moments where it can cause confusion. It's certainly caught me out a couple of times doing these videos, and then I've had to, again, look up on the old phone because I'm learning at the same time as you might be. But I'm also pointing out with this commentary that there are issues in programs like this that you can't just blindly learn from them. As good as they are to teach you, you need to pick up on the errors that these programs also make and kind of debug for yourself what happens in actual language. Much like this is N5 Japanese that will be going to N4 Japanese. And N5 starts at the primary school elementary level, hence why these forms are very simple and quite one-dimensional, and they're not going to be quite exactly what native Japanese speakers use in common language when speaking. This is just giving a framework for how the structure and the grammar of Japanese works and operates. It's teaching us those operations and those functionalities and the structure. And then as it progresses through level 2 and 3, I'm going to guess, because I've never got through disc 1 anyway, but coming up to the end of this unit section of a full course for level 1, I'm going to assume it may stop there. I'm not entirely sure. But the exercises thus far, it's teaching very simple concepts like you would teach primary school and elementary school. And then it's ramping them up as we go. And as a result, is introducing new and more complicated features of the language as we go. So yeah, it's important to spot out and point out these issues when you're learning, particularly in a program like this that doesn't self-correct and is obviously 10-15 years old at least by this point. And again, flashcard programs can do this, much like how Google Translate can, where you'll type in a phrase and it'll automatically translate direct translation, but in context, it doesn't technically make sense. The same as if you type an English sentence and then get it to translate in Japanese, it will just formulate the translation directly from English to Japanese. It doesn't necessarily use the correct grammar or the correct wording or conjugate stuff. Or participalize words to make sense in the functionality of the grammar of the structure of the sentence. Which is why I think, again, phrase books, further east you go on the planet and move away from continental Europe, from America, Western English speaking countries, the further east you go, the harder those translations become to understand for us and natives, because they're essentially incorrect, because they don't take certain things into account with how a language operates, or how native speakers actually speak, particularly when it comes to things like slang and dialects, you know. Anyway, slide 7, let's carry on.
彼女の髪は白髪です。
Her hair is white.
彼の髪は赤毛です。
His hair is red.
彼の髪は白髪です。
His hair is white.
彼女の髪は茶色です。
Her hair is brown. Now, is that brown or red? Brown.
彼女の髪は黒いです。
Her hair is black.
彼の髪は金髪です。
His hair is blonde, even though it looks less than blonde. But there we go. So again, you can see I'm trying to see, now we've got hakuhatsu is being used, because they probably realized their mistake in the previous slide and the previous exercises by this point, which, okay, fine, they're now correcting when they were coding this. But again, as you can see, if you know the form that you're looking for, so we're looking for single female, which is her, kanojo, and we're looking for hair, kami, and then we were looking for the color, which in this instance, kuroi. The same with the bottom, chiro, then hakuhatsu is obviously white hair, kinpatsu is blonde, akage is red, thank you very much for being ginger, love it, and the same for the older gentleman at the end with his hakuhatsu, white hair. So again, if you end up knowing what you're looking for, you can listen out for what you're looking for and make sense of the slide, so that when you do select correct, you can actually see the sentence, and then obviously
彼女の髪は黒いです。
replay it so you can translate it, or at least understand it and attempt to speak it.
彼女の髪は黒いです。
for example, or
彼女の髪は白髪です。
and so on and so forth. Let's go to slide 8.
女の人は暑いです。
So she is hot. The lady is hot.
女の子は寒いです。
The young girl is cold.
男の子は暑いです。
The young boy is hot.
男の人は寒いです。
And the man is cold. So here we are, we're looking for samui, which is cold, or we're looking for atsui, which is hot. Everything else around it we already know. So we're just looking for the descriptor to match the picture, and then we've got the sentence. Now, I can hear, obviously, what they're saying, and I am translating as I go what they are saying. So it's only the descriptor words, the adjective or verb that tends to stand out to me. That is what I'm looking for in the picture, and that's how I'm identifying whether I'm translating correct, and then I can select the picture. This is why for the past half a unit, obviously I've been making a lot less mistakes than, say, 15 or 20 videos ago, where I was starting on this journey and are still in unit 1, or even sometimes the beginning of unit 2. You can see very quickly I've picked up my game. The translation process in my head, reading and listening process, has got much faster, much snappier, much better recall, as I've put into practice the whole I'm not going to move ahead until 100% each slide, and I get each one right. Now, granted, it does give you the answers when you get them wrong and then go to repeat, but as you've noticed, I don't stay on that screen for any length of time to actually pay attention to what the answers are, and it's masked, and you've got something in the way that's also kind of half covering these answers. So I don't generally tend to see what's going on in the background, even with my OCD, to even pick up the answers. And then even if I did, what would be the point? You're not really learning. So I'm forcing myself to do it this way so that I'm not moving on and getting that false sense of security of, oh, I got it right enough. No, I'm repeating until I get 100% before moving on. And so far, efficiency-wise, that seems to be working for me. I hope it works for others at home. If your learning style is a little bit different, don't worry. I'm sure it works just as well. There's some right methods to teaching yourself a language, especially in a casual manner where you can pick it up easily and digest it enough to understand the information and make those connections between your own language and the one you're learning. But by and large, this is quite an easy introduction to learning Japanese and seems to be working really well. So I'm hoping you're all getting something from it, particularly with my notes in the things I've noticed and the tips and tricks that are helping me learn, pointing out, the odd differences here and there, maybe some of the bugs in a program, etc. That makes this resource usable to you. So anyway, yeah, we were looking for cold, samui, and we were looking for hot, atsui, because we know otokonoko, and we know onanoko, and we know otokonoshito, and we know onanoshito. So let's move to slide 9.
女の人はお腹が空いています。
She sat down in the kitchen.
女の子は喉が渇いています。
She's thirsty.
男の人はお腹が空いています。
He sat down. Oh,
男の人は
I've got
お
that wrong.
腹が空いています。
Let's redo that.
男の人はお腹が空いています。
Yeah.
女の子は喉が渇いています。
Yeah.
男の子は喉が渇いています。
That's the one I thought I was listening to.
女の人は
There we go. Right. Otokonoko wa nodo ga kawaite imasu. He's thirsty. Otokonoshito wa onanoko ga suite imasu. He's hungry. Or the man is hungry. Onanoshito wa onaka ga suite imasu. The lady is hungry. Onanoko wa nodo ga kawaite imasu. The little girl is thirsty. So we've got the little boy is thirsty, the man is hungry, the lady is hungry, and the girl is thirsty. Let me just double check that that's what nodo ga kawaite imasu means, which I'm pretty sure it is, because I've done these before, so we'll just make sure nodo ga kawaite imasu. My throat is dry / I'm thirsty. Nodo ga kawaite imasu in Japanese translates to my throat is dry / I'm thirsty. It literally means throat. Nodo is dry. Kawaite is being. Imasu. And that's the translation of the structure, which when in context you speak in Japanese would translate to English to the girl is thirsty. The girl is thirsty. The lady's hungry. The man is hungry and the boy is thirsty. On to slide 10.
男の子は疲れています。
The boy is tired.
男の人は病気です。
The man is ill.
女の人は疲れています。
The lady is tired.
女の子は病気です。
The girl is ill or unwell. So, tsukurete is to be tired. So, imasu is there is being, there are, depending on the forms beforehand. So, the lady is tired. So, imagine imasu is at the front. And then, again, it's why you can kind of ignore imasu and des in a way, because once you know what they are in context, if you see them or hear them, you know what even though it's at the end of the sentence, you kind of know what the form is when you're speaking the sentence, even though it comes at the end. And then, byoki is to feel unwell or sick. So this makes this, the lady is tired, the girl is sick or unwell, the boy is tired, and the man is sick or unwell. Let's go to slide 11. It's the last slide for this particular
お
difficulty.
元気ですか？
お元気ですか？
私は具合が悪いです。
Ah,
私は具合が悪いです。
I'm sorry.
お元気ですか？
お元気ですか？
Are you okay?
元気です。
Yes, I am.
私は具合が悪いです。
And that's, no, I'm not feeling well. Pretty sure, guai ga wari des is, I don't feel good. Gua, it's typing a name and I don't need it. Gua ga wari des. I don't feel well, or I'm not feeling well, is what it translates. It suggests a feeling of unwellness or general sense of discomfort and not being in the best state. So we have, are you okay? O genki desu ka? Or are you alright? Watashi wa guai ga warui desu. That's quite hard to say.
私
Watashi
は
wa
具合
guai
が
ga
悪い
warui
です。
desu.
私
Watashi
は
wa
具合
guai
が
ga
悪い
warui
です。
desu. Yeah, pretty tough to say. Because of the guai ga warui. It's quite, again, they're vowels that are hard to follow the consonants that they have, because in English we're not necessarily pronouncing our vowels after the consonants in that way. So the sibilants rise and fall of cadence when you're saying it changes the shape of the mouth in such a way that we're not trained to make those shapes and sounds in that order, which is why it takes a while of practice to pronounce things like this in clarity and with speed or haste, without tripping up over your own tongue. That's part of the practice. So,
私
watashi
は
wa
具合
guai
が悪い
garawai
です。
desu. Getting there, I struggle going from the gaga to the w. But I sometimes make that mistake in English. So, you know, here's what it is. O genki desu ka? How are you? Are you okay? And then genki desu. I'm well, thanks. So that's lesson 4. Again, 100%. First slide and a couple slides in the middle. Got a little bit wrong. Had to restart. Let's return to the home page. That's got another module done. That's not so bad. So let's do the repeat of the listening, which was the lesson 3 module of this unit, which is this section here. We always do a repetition of the previous section before, because that's just how the program's built. I think it's really good, because you get to recap some of the simple stuff after doing the hard stuff. It kind of puts your mind in the frame of mind of where you've been to where you are now. It's a good comparison to have. So there's lesson 3. That's the one we're going to be doing, but it's here. So let's get into that.
私は家に住んでいます。
私は上に住んでいます。He's in front of his house.
彼女はアパートに住んでいます。
She's in her apartment.
彼らは家に住んでいます。
They're in front of their house.
私たちはアパートに住んでいます。
This is our apartment. Or we are in our apartment. Okay. So ie is house, aparto is apartment. Then we got nisundeimas. This is ours, or we are in. And there it is. Look, again, pretty easy by now. If you've been following along.
男の人は通りに立っています。
Tori ni tateimasu. So he's in the street or
女の
avenue.
子は橋の上に座っています。
She's sitting in front of the bridge.
女の人は公園で座っています。
She's sat in the park.
女の子たちは橋の上に立っています。
And they're standing on the bridge. So here we have plural for girls. Hashi is bridge. No any is in front. Or is on. Sorry. And then tate is to stand. So onana kotachi wa hashi no any tatemasu is the girls are standing on the bridge. Otoko no hito wa tori ni tatteimasu. The man is standing in the street, because tori is street or avenue. in Japanese. Onna no hito wa kouen de suwatemasu. She sat in the kouen, which kouen is park, and suwate is to sit. And the same we have here is the little girl. Onanoko wa hashi no ue ni suwatemasu. She sat on the bridge. So again, yeah, once you've got the individual words and you've translated them to understand what they mean singularly, and then you put them in the context of a sentence in Japanese in the correct order, it again gets pretty easy to start to understand. In context, I think with Japanese, although it's difficult to get at first, once you start understanding it a little more, it doesn't really change too much. Personally, the structured form of the sentence stays the same. It's the bits that change around it that are different, like the words you can swap in and out. Unlike something like French or German, where the feminine and the masculine forms of words can change what comes after it in the sentence and modify it. I'm finding that this doesn't happen as much in Japanese. They just change out the word entirely. Again, depending on if it's first person, second or third person, polite, informal, or plain Japanese, and whether you're talking up or down, and how you pitch your accent throughout. All then change the context, which it's not too hard to pick up. Again, this is all basic.
通り、
Totally, it's all basic Japanese.
国、
Kuni, country.
公園、
Koen as the park.
町、
Machi, city.
橋、
Hashi is bridge. Lovely jubbly. There we go. So once you've learnt the individuals, it's not hard to see when they appear in a sentence what the sentence is on about, what it means. Just like thought.
この通りはパリにあります。
Oh, what?
この通りはパリ
Oh,
に
it's
あ
'cause
り
the
ます。
street. The street is
こ
in
の
France.
通りはパリにあ
Yep.
この町はフランスにあります。
Because Faransi is France. It's more what I was listening
こ
to.
の橋はニューヨークにあります。
This bridge is in New York.
この町はアメリカにあります。
And this country is America. There we go. Oh, this city is in America. But yeah, even when you Nihon the country, the town, city, sorry, Paris is Paris. France, New York, obviously New York, and then America. It gets easier to spot when the Japanese try to Japanify foreign words or foreign place names, because they generally keep them quite westernized, in all fairness. And the only reason that the pronunciation changes slightly is because they just don't have some of the letters that we do in our alphabet, and therefore find those sounds or combinations of certain sounds hard to pronounce. So they do the best they can, which is ironically where the stereotyping comes from in English. When Japanese people speak foreign words with a Japanese accent, it's because they don't actually have that sound in their language. So I'm thinking like I's, L's, R's, etc. And that's where we get that stereotype Japanese speaking English, very, very solid, etc. It applies to Chinese, South Korean, it's most Asian countries, because they don't have those sounds in their language per se, that they naturally come across. So in reverse, it's the same as us trying to speak certain combinations of words that have consonants surrounded by a ton of vowels, for instance, and we're just not used to that because the way we pronounce our vowels are slightly different depending on the consonants around it. So it's kind of like an inverse, a reversal. So yeah, it's just something to pay attention of and be mindful of. But it does make identification purposes in Western English just a little bit simpler and a little bit easier to pick up, particularly in a speak-back program like this. So you can concentrate on the location or area first, and then work out what's being said around it in context, which, if you know that tori is avenue and street, machi is city, hashi is bridge, and so on and so forth, then you can kind of get a sense of what's being said when the sentence is being spoken. Let's go to slide 5 and see what that has for us.
彼らはフランスの出身です。彼はフランスの出身です。彼女はフランスの出身です。彼はアメリカの出身です。
So this is giving examples of what each of these people are. So 彼らは and then was it ni Faransu? Basically, it's saying that these all people with their tenses are from France. So 彼らは the plural for these people are, or they are from. 彼は singular male form, he is from. 彼女は she is from. Now we have
彼はアメリカの出身です。
he is from America. So we're going to pick the baseballer because he's the individual single male. Of course, it's
彼
correct.
らはアメリカの出身です。
They are from America because it's plural. 彼らは
彼女はアメリカの出身です。
and then we're going to pick 彼女は for the single female. There we go. So 彼らはフランスの出身です. They are from France, or they come from France. He comes from France. She comes from France. And so on and so forth with the same with the Americana. So again, you can see, you know the form, and you know where they're from. You can kind of guess what no shushin des means. If they, France, are from, they are. This is essentially direct translation. So you get your identifier in the noun, you get the place name, and then you get what's actually being described, i.e. they are from. And that's what you get on this slide. And then you can obviously practice.
彼らはフランスの出身です。
Or
彼らはアメリカの出身です。
Place names, location from, relatively simple. And again, this is an easy repeat.
日本の出身ですか？
Are you from Japan?
私たちは日本の出身です。
We are from Japan.
私は日本の出身です。
I am from Japan.
彼は日本の出身です。
He is from Japan. So here it's taken us individually through the potential noun forms of each person's nationality. Now they're all from Japan. So Nihon is from Japan. Just as your Japanese, as your Japan. Nihon. So we'll start with the one we first started with. Nihon no shushin desu ka? So desu ka, des is as is speaking to the person. Desu ka, if you add in a ka in the end, whether it's in maska, onimaska, whatever, it changes it to a question. So it's an important thing to ask, which is why you don't have a form at the start when asking, are you? So Nihon no shushin desu ka? Are you from Japan? Or are you Japanese? Then we've got the first guy. Let's do the first guy. Kare wa Nihon no shushin desu. He is from Japan, because there is no, as you can see, a triangular form in these pictures means that person's speaking. And it gives you an idea of the direction of travel of the language. So watashi tachi, we are from Japan. Is watashi tachi no wa Nihon no shushin desu. So the kids are speaking about themselves, or at least this one is speaking about us, we. And then when you look at watashi, it's the formal, polite form of I. And you can see that this lady is talking about herself. Watashi wa Nihon no shushin desu. I am from Japan. So you can see the slight noun differences from singular he to plural us or we. And watashi in slight formal singular form I. Also, she's female, so watashi would be correct in polite female form. If this man was speaking about himself in polite form, he would probably use karewa, but it would make more sense for him to use boku wa or boku no, which is usually exclusively reserved for masculine interpretants and speaking. Which is what, but you also don't really see boku used too much, mainly because it's seen as a little male dominant, and isn't necessarily seen in as polite when talking about I in company when you're male, and particularly alongside female, you would use watashi or watastachi to be polite and formal, particularly around females or other friends, etc. That makes sense. So let's go to slide 7.
どこの出身ですか？どこの出身ですか？
Where are you
私
from?
たちはフランスの出身です。
We are from France.
私はエジプトの出身です。
I am from Egypt. So there we go. Where are you from? Doku no shushin desu ka? And then watashi wa Egypto no shushin desu. I am from Egypt. Doku no shushin desu ka? Where are you from? Watashi tachi wa Faransu no shushin desu. And we are from France. They look like sisters at the very least. So yeah, we also use watashi in polite form when you don't know the person as well. Just because again, it's the polite form of the noun for I. It makes more sense to use it. And I think a fair few people actually use it way more often than their individualized forms when being formal. Let's go to slide 8.
男の子は家の近くにいます。
So the boy is close to the house.
犬は家の近くにいます。
The dog is close to the house.
女の子は家から遠くにいます。
The girl is far from the house.
馬は家から遠くにいます。
The horse is far from the house. How do we know this? Because I know that inu is dog and waie house and no chikaku. Well, no chikaku would be new, but I already know, having done this slide, that chikaku and toku, chikaku is close to and toku is far away. So here we have a dog that's close to the house. There is a dog close to the house. Uma wa ie kara toku ni imasu. The horse is far from the house. So then let's look at the boy. The boy is close to the house, as he is. This is no chikaku. And onna no ko wa ie kara toku ni imasu. The girl is far from the house. Because she is. That's what it is in the photo. So you can already extrapolate the words that you know. Imasu, onna no ko, wa ie, house. And kara toku ni is far from. So again, it gets quite easy to interpret the structure of the language, the translation of what's being said, of the individual words, and then we can piece together the sentence with what we already know from our previous slides, from our previous work, from the previous units, from our previous lessons, where we've learned individually what these are as we move forward, and also from interpreting what the pictures are showing us as information throughout. Let's go to slide 9. Slide 9.
この国の名前はイタリアです。
The name of this country is Italy.
この国の名前はエジプトです。
The name of this country is Egypt. So you can already hear some words are relatively similar to English. It's just the placement in the sentence. Particularly when talking about
こ
foreign
の
words.
国の名前はロシアです。
The name of this country is
こ
Russia.
の国の名前は日本です。
The name of this country is Japan. So let's go over that. Kono kuni no namae wa. So again, imagine Japanese being spoken by Yoda. We can ignore des, because again, it's kind of unimportant at this point, in the sense of we already know that imas, des, usually mean there are, there is, this is, it is, they are, you are whatever. So it's more important on the konikuni no namae wa, and then we get the name. So the name of this country, but it's backwards. Name of this country is Italy. And we get Japan, Nihon. We get Egypto, Egypt, and then Russia for Russia. Plus we get these handy little flags. So you get a sense of, from the beginning of the slide, where we're naming a country to begin with, before we're finding out what street, bridge, city, and what countries are. We get enough information to learn that this means that the name of the country is, and then whatever the name of the country is given. So we know that kono kuni no namae wa Italia desu. This country is called Italy or named Italy. Kono kuni no namae wa Nihon desu. The name of this country is Japan. Kono kuni no namae wa Egypto desu. The name of this country is Egypt. Kono kuni no namae wa Russia desu. The name of this country is Russia. Quite simple by this point. Let's go to slide 10.
イタリアはフランスの近くにあります。
Italy and France are close together or close by each
日
other.
本はブラジルから遠くにあります。
Japan and Brazil are far from each other.
イタリアはブラジルから遠くにあります。
Italy and Brazil are far from each other.
日本は中国の近くにあります。
Japan and China are close together or close to each other. So, and there we have. See how it's now changed from des to arimasu? Because again, the perception form has changed. We're no longer talking about the country as an individual. We're talking about two or more together. So we've gone from the des, which is your individual when speaking from one country to another or person to another, to arimasu, which is more collective. So Nihon wa chongoku no chikaku ni arimasu. Japan and China are close to each other. Essential translation. And the same for these, where you can just replace chikaku, which is close, to toku, which is far, which is why we get kara instead of just no chikaku, because kara toku is far from. So we're only really replacing one section of the structure of the grammar in the sentence to say, or at least translate, what these sentences are. And as you can see, Italy and France are close together. Italy and Brazil are far from each other, etc. So it becomes easier and easier to understand the changes in the formal of the language, which when we go to translate into English whilst we're learning this, it becomes a little easier to understand. Let's go to slide 11 for a big finish.
私の父です。名前はバートランドです。ダイニングルームで食べています。
There we go.
私の兄です。名前はウラジミールです。寝室で寝ています。
母です。名前はあゆみです。台所で料理しています。私の妹です。名前はジュリアです。公園で遊んでいます。
Okay, so we'll get these right first, and we'll go through them. So, watashi no chichi desu. This is is that his dad? I think that's his dad. His name is Bertrand, and he's eating in the dining room. I mean, again, sometimes the placeholders for words are quite simple. Dining room immediately gives away where you are. Names a little bit more difficult, especially in translation from English or any other language to Japanese, because they change them slightly, because again, they don't necessarily have either the vowels or a couple of the consonants in their language, so it makes it hard for them to make certain sounds, so they have to operate with replacements. So here we have this is my dad. Yeah, this is my dad. His name is Bertrand, and he is eating in the dining room. Watashi no ani desu. This is my brother. Yeah, this is my brother. His name is. Anyone want to guess what Orajimiru des means? I genuinely can't remember, so I'm gonna actually look it up. Just to make sure that I had it right. If I can spell it, Urajimiru. Oh, I can't spell today either. I'm pretty sure that means Vladimir. And he's sleeping in the bedroom, Shitsu. This is my grandma. Her name is Ayumi. She is cooking in the kitchen. And this is my little sister. Her name is Julia. She's playing in the park. Nice, nice, isn't it? When you could see the translation, when you can see the words written in English, it does make it easier to understand the translation of Japanese without being in, say, hiragana. Much harder. I would have to definitely reference my sheet. Plus, there are also some kanji combinations here for certain things, or katakana for names, like this row here and this row here, that I'm yet to learn to be able to actually read these direct. But that will be the intention once I get to the end of level 1 and go to repeat this fully in hiragana and kanji. That's going to be interesting to watch. But yeah, once you've got the individuals, whether it's your watashi no, or your chichi desu, or your namae wa, or your dining room, or your tabetemas, it becomes easy to break down the sentences in sections. The same with over here. Obviously, Urajimiru, very, very different, but I'm pretty sure that's Vladimir. Shinshitsu de nete mas, he's sleeping in the bedroom. Because Shinshitsu is bedroom and nete is sleep. Haha, it's your grandma or your nan. Her name's Ayumi. And Daidokoro. Again, I've mentioned before in my videos that that's one of my favourite place names for a place in the house. Daidokoro for kitchen. And ryori shiteimasu. One of the hardest words I ever first learned in Japanese because it's in the first unit. And I'm pretty sure it's in the second section, or second modules of lessons. When you start to learn chef or cooking in groups with ryori shiteimasu. And Imuto, I'm pretty sure his little sister. Let me just double check that it is. I should know this by now because we've come across it enough times, or I've come across it enough times. Yeah, younger sister. Fantastic. Her name is Julia. See how R replaces L because they don't have the letter L in the language. And koren, we know is park, and desonde is to play. And there you have it. That will be the module for listening. 42 correct. Again, not moving on until I've repeated the pictorial slide itself, got it 100% correct before moving on. Again, I think it's important for me to do that with my OCT. I can't move on until I've got it perfect anyway, but I do think efficiency-wise, it's easier to do that and rectify the mistake immediately before carrying on. You've still made the mistake, and you've recognized why you've made the mistake, and then you've gone to rectify the mistake straight off the bat. As a result, going into the next slide, if you encounter the same issue, you don't tend to make the same mistake, which then makes the next slide easier to learn and absorb, even if it's got new information in, which for me, perfect, because again, I'm casually learning this and teaching myself this with just this program and a couple of outside resources, which again is a very casual experience, and as a result, I'm getting through this relatively well, which again, making these videos and documenting my process with a little bit of commentary over the things that I'm spotting, pointing out some tips and tricks so that it's easier to digest for yourselves if you're listening and following, I think helps anyone to understand this language, whether you've got your own resources or not. It's whatever works for you. Personally, this method works for me, and I'm hoping it works for others who watch these videos. Anyway, that's the 2 listening modules done for today. Like I said, and my apologies for not doing a video for Monday and Tuesday. I been through the ringer through the weekend, and I've only just been well enough to make this content and start catching up with myself again. So I'm well behind schedule, but I'm not too fussed. I'm grinding this out as I go. I'm still learning Japanese. Still making a couple of mistakes, but they're a lot less than when I was back here, and they're definitely a lot less when we were working our way through the first section of Japanese level 1. Unit 1, the language basics. We're now in greetings and introductions unit 2, but we're right towards the end, getting towards that milestone. So good news. This has been episode 55 or video 55 of me doing these module breakdowns and run-throughs of me learning the language, spotting some pitfalls and all the rest of it, making mistakes, etc. So I'm hoping that you find this helpful in ingratiating yourself into learning some Japanese. Learning along with me with this content, I'm hoping is beneficial in some format, or at least enjoyable and entertaining, even when I mess up. I get frustrated about it because obviously I want to do well and I want to push myself whilst grinding out learning this language, which is one of the harder languages to learn on this planet for Western English speakers. Can't stress that enough. It is known to be one of the harder languages to teach yourself, mainly because of the pitfalls that come with it. And you know, the resources that come out for it are not always as informative, are not always very well documented in their guidance through the video. And as people have probably seen and watched with these videos, when you've got a program like this that's dedicated to it and it still has bugs and errors in it, it's hard to bridge that gap when you're trying to learn, when encountering it, if you haven't got an analyst problem-solving mind like I have, where I can spot this, identify it, and then extrapolate what it's meant to be for anyone who may not be so inclined or as readily receptive to there being an error there. So again, I'm pointing out this is one of the better resources I have for teaching myself this language. I would recommend it to anyone as a good way to get into learning any language, whether that's Japanese or not. The Rosetta Stone resources are fantastic. Obviously, I'm using quite an old version here. It's 2008, 2010 sort of era, so it's good 10, 15 years old at this point, hence the errors it has on new systems that I'm encountering. There are other programs out there and resources. A lot of linguists who specialize in learning language or teaching languages do also suggest that there are pitfalls with those programs which are very akin to just straight Google Translate or Babelfish or whatever issues, where it doesn't necessarily translate the words correctly, it doesn't necessarily give you context for how it's being used in a language. It can chuck you right in at the deep end with no ramp up of learn this basic stuff first, then get into the intermediate, then get into the advanced and the expert stuff, etc. This program seems to be doing a very good job of doing so. So thank you all for those who tune in and watch this live. Thank you all who catch this on my Twitch channel. Thank you all for those who find this on my YouTube or migrate over there from the Twitch live stream to watch this video in its home lived space where it can be kept. I very much appreciate the support. I think those who are watching are getting something from this. I hope you are too. I hope you find this informative and entertaining as well. I'm doing this just because I want to document my journey towards my end goal, which is to learn Japanese to enough of a speaking standard and reading standards to eventually take a trip out there and to not be a disrespectful English guy trying to speak broken Japanese to the Japanese in their own language. They would see that as, yeah, you're trying, but it's also still a bit disrespectful. So I want to try and respect them as much as I can by learning their language as much as possible. So thank you for tuning in. That's today's video. The next process module we'll be going through is the listening and reading sections here and here. I'll be trying to do that as much as I can for tomorrow. Hopefully the program will hold up overnight now that I've got it working again. I am now feeling better and more well, so hopefully I'm not going to be missing tomorrow. I do have a lot of work to do tomorrow, but I can do it after I do the video in the morning. So fully expect that to be there. I have recovered from my weekend illness, which lasted until yesterday. I'm not running to the toilet for both ends as much as I was. Sorry for if that's too much info. And yeah, if you have anyone who wants to learn Japanese at a casual pace and has no resources, please, please, please like, follow, share, and subscribe to my channels, twitch.tv/crunk7up and youtube.com/xofficina. If you go to one, you can go to the other. They both link to each other. The videos are up on Twitch for 7 days because I'm not yet affiliate. That's what my push for affiliate and follows is for. Please, please, please share around. If you go to YouTube, you can find my videos live on YouTube in a nicely documented playlist. They are labeled 1 through to the current video number, which should be 55. So we will have 56 for these ones, 57 for these ones, 58 for the review, 59 will be the milestone, and then 60 will be the start of Unit 3. So that's kind of worked out really well, hasn't it? That's all from me today. I hope you've enjoyed watching and listening and getting your daily dose of casual Japanese self-taught learning in Rosetta Stone 3. So until next time, thank you for watching, stay safe, keep sane, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!